The bone broth revival is one of the more interesting case studies in wellness marketing's ability to transform a peasant economy staple, a food born from the pragmatic necessity of using every part of an animal, into a premium product projected to reach $2.8 billion in market value by 2027. You can now buy it in shelf-stable cartons at airports, sip it from cups at dedicated bone broth cafes, and find it in flavors designed for Instagram. What you will find considerably harder to locate is a rigorous body of clinical evidence supporting the specific health claims that have propelled this market. The most prominent claims center on collagen, gut healing, and joint support. The collagen narrative has genuine biological logic behind it, though the logic has limits. Bones, connective tissue, and cartilage are rich in collagen proteins, and when simmered for 8 to 12 hours with an acidic component like vinegar, these proteins are hydrolyzed into gelatin and smaller collagen peptides. The question of whether consuming these peptides translates into meaningful collagen support in human skin, joints, or gut lining is where the science becomes complicated. Digestion breaks down proteins into individual amino acids before absorption, which means the collagen you consume does not travel intact to your knee cartilage. What research suggests is that specific hydroxyproline-containing dipeptides may be absorbed in small amounts and signal fibroblast activity, an indirect mechanism that is plausible but not yet demonstrated with the consistency that definitive health claims require. The gut healing language is perhaps the loosest area of bone broth marketing. Glutamine, an amino acid present in broth, does have documented roles in intestinal epithelial cell function, and glycine has some evidence for anti-inflammatory effects. But the concentrations of these compounds in a cup of broth are modest, and the idea that drinking broth repairs intestinal permeability in meaningful clinical ways is not supported by the research gastroenterologists can actually point to. When confronted with bone broth gut healing claims in a scientific context, most gastroenterologists express skepticism about the magnitudes involved while acknowledging the compounds are not without biological activity. Commercial bone broth products introduce additional concerns that the wellness framing tends to obscure. Sodium content in many packaged broths is substantial, often 500 to 800 milligrams per cup, which matters for people managing blood pressure or cardiovascular risk. The sourcing claims that justify premium pricing are frequently unverifiable. Grass-fed, pasture-raised, and organic labels on bone broth products vary enormously in what they actually reflect about production practices. The environmental story has a genuinely positive angle that deserves acknowledgement. Using bones, a byproduct of meat production that would otherwise be discarded, is an authentic form of nose-to-tail eating that reduces overall food waste. A homemade broth from quality bones is substantively different from a mass-produced liquid in a carton, both nutritionally and environmentally. For those already consuming meat, making broth from remaining bones is a sensible and sustainable practice. Paying $5 or $6 for a carton of commercially produced bone broth on the basis of unsubstantiated therapeutic claims is a rather different proposition.